Hey guys, it is your girl Natanya, aka Ebony, aka the dopest nerd. I'm back at you again. Welcome to the Nerd Herd. Thank you for being here with us. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with us. Housekeeping duties. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. Thank you all for following me. Those who follow me, those who are not, by all means, please subscribe. The feedback has been amazing. You guys love the content and have been saying that you appreciate my wisdom and my kind words, and I just appreciate you guys. Like, each one teach one, and one hand wash the other, both hands wash the face. Like, we in this together, guys, and I truly appreciate you. Today's topic is going to be more freehand. I was online and I was kind of like, just looking for topics to talk about and see what's out there in social media and things like that. And what struck me, just basically looking for what's trending. And I was awestruck by a lot of different topics, things that I was exploring and, pondering on whether or not I was going to report on or have a conversation with you about. And I started noting this weird pattern. I don't care what the topic was. It could have been something funny. It could have been something emotional, something thought-provoking, something, sad, something comical, whatever, informational. I would go down the comments and instantly somebody was being snarky and nasty and disrespectful. And it made it almost impossible for me to figure out a topic, which one of the topics I would discuss, because overwhelmingly what kept landing on my spirit was, why are people so mean and nasty to each other? Like, we are, and I don't want to say we, including myself, because I try to make a concerted effort not to be that way, but I will generalize it and just say we as a people, not just Black people, I'm talking a human race, are mean, cruel, nasty. I think it's okay to be on social media and to engage with content creators and other commenters and things like that. But I think when you set out to be evil and disrespectful, I can't for the love of God understand what exists in your spirit that makes you feel like today's the day I just want to decimate someone. Today's the day I want to be a savage. Today's the day I want to, throw a rock and hide my hand, or not even hide your hand. I mean, outside of the fact that you're hiding behind the computer screen, and you probably would never say that in face to face, in real life. You probably would never say that to the individual, but you feel the comfort to say it online. And I am mystified by the level of evil that is permeating through the social media streets. I was looking at one post about a young lady who was like, guys, look what my mom, so her room popped into the screen and it was completely disarray, disheveled. She clearly had nice things, but they were all thrown askew. And she was crying and she said, guys, look what my mom did to my room. She came home and she's drunk and she's toxic and she really needs help. And she's like, I got to get out of here. Oh my God, she needs help. And so she wasn't even she was like, she needs help. She's toxic and she needs help. Instantly, her mom shows up in the frame of the doorway of her bedroom. I mean, her dresser was leaned forward on her bed where you could see there was an attempt to topple the dresser over. And the mirror was still attached to it, but the room was tore up. The mom steps into the door frame and the daughter starts screaming, get out, get out, get out. You need help. And the mother was like, I'm good. Like she was talking to somebody in the street. You ain't got nowhere to go. The girl was like, just get out, you need help. The mother looks her child straight in the face. We can't see the daughter's face. She's filming towards the mom and says, while she knows she's being recorded, you was a mistake. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Why does a young woman and a young black woman, why does she need to hear that? In addition to everything that young people have to deal with. And I know we have this debate over and over. They got it easy. We used to have to go to the library and go to the card catalog and all that stuff. Okay, we know that, but those were many moons ago. And so that's not what we're discussing. Let's also stop conflating. You could say one thing and somebody else will conflate something else to make themselves feel good. Like, are we high school students or are we grown? Why are we playing this game like I'm going to excuse behavior as long as it allows me to be right? That is so corny. I'm amazed. Now, I'm a bit of I would probably say, I'm an ambivert. I'm an introverted extrovert. I'm very extroverted, very comfortable speaking to people and things of that nature. But all my life, I've been extremely comfortable just being an introvert and being by myself. I don't need a bunch of people around. I've had times where I've had bunches of people around, and because I am an empath, I'm hypersensitive to energy. And so when people say, read the room, I could literally read the room. Like literally, like I could feel what's going on in people's lives. And it's always not about knowing somebody's thinking like, oh, I can't stand her. Oh, she thinks she's cute. Oh, not just that. I mean, it was those things and who was struggling and hiding that she was trying to get an abortion and who was going through this, who's being abused, it was all types of stuff. I mean, I've literally, while I was on this journey of life and trying to understand these gifts and figure them out, I've had situations where I tried to talk to people like, are you okay? This and that. What you talking about? I'm fine. Get out my face. I'm good. I'm like, sis, it's okay. If you need somebody to talk to, I'm here. I just want you to know that. And they're like, you acting weird. What are you talking about? And I can feel what they're going through. And the Most High will be like, tell her if she needs help getting over the drugs, you'll be there for her. And then I'm kind of like, and I'll say, listen, if you need help getting over the drugs, or another young lady that was on drugs really bad and doing a whole lot of stuff, and we had a mutual friend, and our mutual friend, she was, I don't know the appropriate term. Back in the days, we used to say a dyke. I don't know what the appropriate term. She was LGBTQ community, and so was her friend, presenting like a boy, like a young, 20-something boy. However, my friend, who was full through and through LGBTQ, was through and through, but her friend was not. Now, anybody who would just have met her would have believed, yes, she was. But I knew instantly. And she literally brought me and was like, yo, I want you to meet my friend. You got to talk to her. You know how you be talking to me and you always know how somebody's feeling and what they're going through. I need you to talk to my friend. I don't know what to do. I got to save her. She going down a bad road. She said my bro. I got to save my bro. He going down a bad road, and I got to save my bro. When I got there, we was sitting in a car, and so she was like, tell her. And I always try to tell people, it's not a parlor trick. Please don't use me as a parlor trick to prove to somebody that this, that, and the third. And so, mind you, she didn't tell me anything about her friend. She just said she's going through some stuff and she's going down the wrong path. I'm trying to be appropriate. Back then, she said my bro. My bro was going down the wrong path. When I was in a car, I said, I just started prophesying to her and talking to her and letting her know that while she looked like LGBTQ, I know she wasn't. And that she needed to get away from her home environment and she's probably somewhere out there on social media. And if you see this and you remember our conversation, our common friend was Kim. If you remember our conversation, by all means, tag up onto this or whatever you guys call it, duet, or respond. From Brooklyn, You know who you are. I don't know where she is. This is many, many moons ago. She could still be here, maybe not. I know Kim may still be out here somewhere. If you see this, Kim, or someone that knows Kim that she relayed this story to, by all means, come out here and confirm this. Because sometimes when I speak, a lot of people will think like, oh, she putting on or whatever. I'm not concerned with any of that. I like to illustrate things for people sometimes. So we sat in the car, and instantly I was like, are you okay? And, you know, her friend was like, yo, I'm good. You know, posturing, very masculine presenting, and very, I'm good, and kind of laugh and stuff. I said, you got to stop it. You have to stop laughing to cover up those tears. You are killing yourself or destroying yourself. I'll try to beep that out in the edit. And you know, pseudo-bulbar is people that, you know, you interacting with some people and it could be a negative situation or a tragic situation and they kind of smile or giggle. That's called pseudo-bulbar. It causes them to smile or laugh in inappropriate times, or times that are not typically appropriate to that reaction. And I said, I know every one of those chuckles is a tear, are tears. Like, I just need you to understand you don't have to be that for me. And for all intents and purposes, anybody that would have met her thought she would have automatically thought that she was a guy. I don't mean like masculine presenting. I mean a guy. She looked like a guy, presented totally like a man, looked like a fine young guy. Dimples, little gold fronts in their mouth. Cute. And I said, you are not. I said, Kim is gay, but you're not. She was like, how you going to tell me what I am? I said, you could con everybody around you. You cannot. You cannot lie to me, and you can't lie to God. You can't lie to yourself. I said, not only are you not gay, you are every bit of heterosexual. But you are tired of your brothers and your fathers and your cousins and the men around you raping you and molesting you. And so you have decided to present masculine in hopes that they will leave you alone. And the drug addiction is just because you can't get over the pain. And I was singing her life with my song, just reading and talking to her, because her friend really was like, I'm trying to save you. And she started crying hysterically. She was like, yo, who told you my business? And she was like, yo, why you told my business? And our common friend was like, how I told her your business? You never even told me that. I didn't know this was going on in your life. And she was inconsolable. And she started looking back at me and saying, who are you? How you know all of this? Who are you? How you know my life? It was so overwhelmingly thick, I couldn't not read her. And I wasn't trying to be in her business. And I'm sure there were mistakes that I probably made because, like I said, I was young in my journey. I had these gifts all my life. The first time I recognized my gifts, I was about 9. Quite possibly a little younger, but guaranteed my first interaction with God on my own, I was about 9. So I had these gifts, and so I was always hypersensitive to everybody's feelings. And I highlight this story because you never know what people are going through. You never know what people are going through. And all it takes is a kind word and some understanding and true empathy and care. Or if you have nothing kind to say, that old adage that our grandmothers and our mothers used to say still works. If you don't have anything nice to say nothing. Skedaddle down the internet streets and mind yours. Let me tell you how impactful. So we had deeper discussion, and I don't want to go into all the other discussion. We had deeper discussion. It was a very long conversation in the car that night. I'm looking, you see me looking around because I'm in the moment. I can feel it. It's as real as if it was now. And it was so ironic because probably about a month, maybe 2 months later, I'm walking down the street and somebody's like, Ebony, Eb. And I'm looking around, and that's a common thing. I had beauty salons, everybody knew me. I'm looking around, and I see this person, and I don't recognize this young lady. And I'm like, hey, because I'm thinking maybe she came to one of my beauty salons before, and I did her hair or something. She was like, Eb, oh my God, how you doing? I'm so happy to see you. And reached out and hugged me, and I was kind of like, whoa. And I was like, do I know you from somewhere? And I kind of had this little chuckle on my face. I was like, do I know you, sis? What's up? And she was like, it's me, Eb. It's me. You saved my life. I was like, who on earth is this lady? And then I stopped for a second because I'm weird about people touching me. And so once I, backed her off of me and kind of was like, where I know you from? She said, Kim, it's me, Eb. Look. She had a weave in her hair. She looked gorgeous. Fully, completely femme. She was like, I got away from them. I moved. I live away at one of my relatives' house. I don't live over there anymore near any of them. They can't touch me no more. And she just needed somebody to free her and care about her and seek to find the reason why, what was going on. Understand her enough to see that there was a problem. It was the young lady that I had talked to in the car that presented as a man. I told her, I knew she wasn't gay. She had just taken on this mantra to protect herself from the men in her family. She was trying to evoke in them that if you still see me as attractive when I totally look like a man, maybe you're gay. And they would like nothing less than for someone, or am I saying it wrong? The furthest thing from their mind would be that someone would accuse them of that. And so they would do anything to run from that. She was able to confess and tell her family, the other family members who were not aware of what was going on, that all these family members had been raping and molesting her for years. And she had gotten into fights and she kept getting arrested and she had all these issues. When I tell you 2 months later, she was va-va-voom. I'm talking hips and booty little shape, everything gorgeous. Gorgeous, but energy was so changed and morphed, I couldn't read her energy to even recognize who it was. Totally different person, because when I met her, she was full of woes, and that energy is so heavy, you can pick up on it instantly. And so what an amazing difference, what an amazing change, what an amazing thing it is for someone to feel valued, heard, seen, loved or cared for, and freed, or to start the process of healing and freeing them from what had bound them. She didn't feel like there was anybody she could tell. She was in the streets, especially in New York. The streets call you to be so tough. So to show a sign of weakness is can be lethal for you. And so everybody has a chip on their shoulder. And so she was carrying this shame in secret. But, I went, and I don't want to say off topic because I feel like it's all relative. I think we have got to stop being so nasty and mean to each other. So while this young lady, her mom said, B, you were a mistake. And I went instantly in the comments and wrote, my love, you are not a mistake. And a lot of other people were writing that, but my goodness, the nasty, first of all, there was a white woman, and I'm saying white woman for a reason, because while all these other, black women were in her comments, one lady said, hey sis, you can come and live with me and my daughter. Another lady came behind her and said, that is so sweet. A few other women were like, if you need gas and money to get there, if you need a ticket to get there, I will pay for it. I will give you that money. What's your Cash App or your whatever? People were like, you need to get an apartment. Some people were ridiculous. You need to go rent you an apartment. The girl was like, if I had the option, I wouldn't have been in this predicament. But the lady offered her a place to live. Here comes this white lady out of nowhere. I'm talking super aggressive, writing in all caps. She's a liar. She's going to steal your money. I hope she robs all of y'all. Y'all all stupid to give her anything. Don't give her a penny. First of all, why are you here, Karen? Becky, why are you here? Why? And I'm not trying to be funny. You are not equipped by virtue of what lives in your spirit and your heart. You don't feel a level of love, compassion, empathy, care, or anything, harmony, kinship with a young black woman. This is not your conversation. Sometimes you gotta look, just because you have a keyboard in front of you and you have the capacity to move your fingers and type out words, doesn't mean you should. What's it to you? This woman was so enraged that other black women were stepping up to help this young black lady. I took her voice to sound about, I would give her 17 through 21. So still young and kind of dependent, but living at home. And it was like, you could see that the mother was inebriated. You could see that the mother found a sense of power and catharsis in attacking her daughter. You could see the resoluteness. The video's on it. I think I was on Facebook. The video's out there. Look at it. The girl is crying incessantly. And you could see the resolute toxicity. And listen, I've known people like that. I've known that energy and that spirit, and that it's not foreign to me. I know it. And so I can only imagine the desperation this young lady felt and the lack of an alternative place to go for your safety, just like I expressed with the other young lady, an alternative outlet, or the perception that she doesn't have an alternative outlet. And so people were stepping up and extending this to her. You know, the woman was like, it's just me and my daughter. We have a nice house. You can come and live with us. And all these women were stepping in to support her. This Karen was relentless. Started writing in all caps, don't give her anything. You're stupid. I hope she robs you all. And what? I had to say, what business is it of yours? Why are you here? Why do you care and are writing in all these caps? Move along. You lack the capacity to feel any empathy, sympathy, or compassion for the plight of this young lady. This situation was clearly not some internet stunt. Trust me. As a culture and as a people, we don't play that. You're not calling your daughter no B and telling her she was a mistake for no likes. You could hear the pain and the angst in this young girl's voice. You could hear the inebriation and see it on the mama. And the mama, you could tell she was older, but she also was petite and slim and a little youngish in the face. So she still felt like she was out here popping and hot. You know, that situation. And so instead of seeing her daughter as her child, her offspring, her future, her destiny, she like I said, the mom looked relatively youngish still. And so what I assessed, and I could be wrong, but what I assessed from that video is that she was a young mother, because she was very comfortable saying you were a mistake, which said a lot. And so she's having her second coming and she wants to be popping or whatever, and she feels like this daughter is in the way, or she's a complete and utter narcissist, and like narcissists do, they look for someone to pick on. There's always a family scapegoat. There's always the one person in the family everybody got beef with. But what the problem is that one person in the family is the realest person in the family who is willing to cry aloud and spare not. That's what the Bible says. And this is like I keep telling people, it's not a religious channel. This is I'm a spiritual woman. And so I am comfortable. Spirituality is a comfortable place for me to exist. It resonates in my mind, body, soul, spirit. There's homeostasis in me. All my chakras are lined up. I feel great and I can exist here comfortably. If this is not for you, my love, please exit stage left down the internet road to the next video. But as for me and my channel, as for me and my video, we gonna call on God. So you could see the mother lacked any capacity of care for this daughter. This Karen was in the comments on one. When I say on one, I was like, oh my goodness. So I wrote what I had to write, and I admonished her to listen. This is not for you. Perhaps you should skedaddle. This is not your lane. Like, why are you here? To admonish somebody. What is the value that you're adding? Perhaps if we start comporting ourselves with this in mind, even if we comment on a post, what value are we adding? If you're not adding value, what's the point of it? Why you got all these words to waste? Like, I always had this notion, listen, God forbid anything happened, I ever fell down in a corner somewhere and nobody can see me. I'm saving all my extra words so that I can scream, help! I don't need to come on the internet and throw out this gumbo of words and narcissistic, abuse and venom and vitriol for nothing. Why? How empty. It made me realize people are so empty and so miserable. They are trying to spread their misery. When I tell you all these parables of old, they are making sense like a mug now. Misery loves company. This woman added no value, but yet she was, and then here's the thing, she was posting and posting and posting and posting. It's remarkable. And people feel righteously indignant on the internet. I had a situation just the other day. So I'm on the internet, on TikTok or whatever, and on my timeline, of course, things that are relatable to your time. Listen, the timeline, how your timeline works still in all these different social media platforms is still relatively new to me. But it's my understanding if you show interest in a particular thing or you're looking at a particular thing, it starts sending that to you. So this video pops down my thing about, it says, Ice Cube is warning his former co-star J-Lo she better lay low because the FBI or something, there's videos out and that they must have showed it to Ben and that's why he left her, about the club shooting. That's what it says. J-Lo, the information and involvement in the club shooting, she better lay low because the feds are watching her. So I'm looking at now. Those of you who know me know my connection to the case. I am the woman that got shot in the face by Sean Puffy Combs on December 27th, 1999 in Club New York. Me, 24 years ago. So I'm looking at it and I was shocked to see my face come down the video. I was like, ugh. And it talked about me. It's like this woman that was shot in the club, da 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 da. And so people are commenting like, yeah, J-Lo is, she's shady and I knew she had something to do with it. She needs to get her what was coming to her too. And she lied. And all these comments. I'm reading comments and someone's like, oh, I think J-Lo and Diddy are the love of each other's lives. They were the ones that got away from each other. And I'm thinking like, okay, people can say whatever. Then this next one comes up. Oh, please, nothing's going to happen to J-Lo. She doesn't know anything about that shooting. Not one single thing. I said, you're wrong. Ask me how I know. That's all I wrote to her. Well, Karen, baby, when I talk about go hard and wrong and strong, she's like, oh, please, this is old news anyway. I saw this video a year ago. I said, okay, now you're just straight lying. You ain't seen no video a year ago. Cassie's stuff came out in November. Little Rod came out in December, January, and his lawsuit was filed in February. I made my infamous TikTok responding to it in February and it went viral. So we in August, lady. You ain't see this video no year ago because nobody was talking about this a year ago. They literally said Little Rod's lawsuit, this, that, the lady gonna argue me down. Yes, I did see it a year ago. I was like, no, Karen, you're lying. You didn't see it a year ago. None of this was going on a year ago. It didn't break. I mean, listen, what? Cat Williams proclaimed at the top of the year, 2024 is up. All lies will be exposed. All lies will, like the emperor, all lies will be exposed. He said you're either on God's side or the other side. We know what the other side is. Kaiser Soze, the devil, Shaitan. We know. This woman starts, so I said, ask me how I know. So she talked about, you don't know anything. You're just commenting on a random video just like me. I said, no, I'm the woman who was shot. That's my face in that video that you're talking about, that you saw a year ago. Nobody was talking about this a year ago. I didn't make that TikTok a year ago. So there's no way you saw this a year ago. Quit while you ahead, sis. You're going kind of hard. This heifer commenced to curse me out. F you, so what? Who cares if you got shot? You ain't nothing. You ain't nobody. Don't nobody care if you got shot. Whatever. I saw it a year ago. So was like, is this woman for real? She's like, oh, you need to shut up. You're in your feelings. So typically I am someone who, I'm not going to let you take me there. Maybe back in the days, I'm going to let you know. But my silence is so golden to me. I enjoy it. I let her get under my skin because I'm still human. I'm still flesh. What do you mean I'm in my feelings? What do you mean F me, so what, I got shot? And you just in your feelings. Nobody cares about you. Really? So let me tell you why it's okay for me to be in my feelings. I got shot in the face with a 9mm hollow point bullet. I still have 9 bullet fragments in my face and head. Still. Okay? So if nothing gives you a right to get in your feelings, if anything gives you a right to get in your feelings, that would qualify. Second, you going hard in the paint for something you have nothing to do with. You have no dog in the fight. You said what you had to say. I corrected you. You so in your feelings. This woman has sent me probably 25 messages. Because I'm on her. I'm like, you're a liar. Prove it. You saw this last year? Prove it. Then she's trying to go off. Well, no, I saw something on YouTube a year ago that said, listen, sis, you on this. As a matter of fact, let me take back my sis. Because everybody ain't your sis. I said, you're wrong and strong. Quit while you're ahead. You're wrong and strong. You're trying to go hard in the paint and be wrong and strong. All of these facts that I've spit to you and all of these things in this video are dated. Even, what's the psychic lady's name? Blonde hair, slim white chick, psychic. Even she said it's going to come out in November. So why are you telling me in August? Why are you arguing with me on the internet in August about my case? My case. The video in question is a video of him shooting me. This woman is arguing me down on the internet about my case, telling me I should mind my business and I'm in my feelings and go away because no one cares. So what? I got shot in the face. Like audacity on caucasity on you must be out your mind. I had to back away like, you know what? I said, be gone with yourself. Oh, trust me. Now, she was sending me messages. I was sending messages back because I was in my feelings. Because if anything else, I have a right to be in my feelings. Because trust me, you don't want to feel what a 9 bullet fragments in your head feels like. You can't help but to be in your feelings. But that notwithstanding, when do people get a high moral plateau or some sort of just general integrity and personal fortitude to chill and just be like, oh, my bad? Why don't we act and comport ourselves with tact and decorum when speaking on other people's lives or situations? Why don't we understand that, yeah, God gave us a range of emotions. Joy, peace, sadness, happiness, anger, this, that, all types of stuff. We have a range of emotions. I am very tired of people trying to tell us or rein us in on the use of our emotions. People literally want to try to tell you when it's appropriate for you to use your emotions. I'm not on the internet talking to you about somebody else's situation and telling you, you're in your feelings. I'm talking about my case. I'm talking about my life. I'm talking about these 24 years that I endured by the grace of God. First and foremost, that I survived. Secondly, that by the grace of God, God told me years ago, I started telling people about 2.5, 3 years ago, that his time is coming and he's going to crumble. I even have a few girlfriends I don't speak to anymore because when it all came out, they spun the block on me and was like, oh my God, you said that. You was right. You was telling. We thought you was crazy, girl. Excuse me? You thought I was crazy? Why? You know I have a gift because you've called me to use and benefit from my gift when you need it. So you know I have gifts. Spiritual gifts, you know I have. You know I have intuitiveness, wisdom, and the spirit of discernment that's incredibly strong. And yet, you thought it was appropriate to circle the block and tell me you thought I was crazy? But now you know I was right and that I'm nothing's wrong with me because somebody on YouTube, some blogger that you don't know on YouTube told the story, and now you're like, oh, she was right. Oh, my friend is right. And now you all, I know her. I know that's my girl. I know her. Really? Let me tell you something. I don't speak to them now because what do you mean you thought I was crazy? I told you, God told me that his time was going to come and he was going to crumble. His empire would crumble. I told people that 2.5 years ago. I promise you, I have text messages and DMs to prove it and stuff on the internet to prove it. Comments. Sometimes we also have to learn to keep some stuff to ourselves. You thought I was crazy? You think it's appropriate to say that? What's crazy about it? Outside of the fact that the whole situation is crazy, but the fact that I said that the Most High told me that his whole empire would crumble, and I told you that 2.5 years ago, almost 3, and y'all was all engaged in a conversation with me. It's weird to hear this now that you thought I was crazy. Now that the internet and strangers verify it, well, then it's real now because the strangers said so. Like, don't we owe each other a debt of respect? And why are we so heavy-handed in judging people or criticizing or failing to hear people out and understand where they're coming from? Why is someone's truth only validated when a stranger tells you? Why? Your friend, your people, your cousin, your family, whatever. How come if they tell you something, it's not enough? You have to have random stranger on internet tell you, write a story, do a post for you to be like, you know what? Now I believe you. Was it not you that were the problem and not them? Who was the problem? If you thought that I was crazy because I told you 2.5 years ago that his empire is going to crumble. And when I say his, we all know who I'm talking about. And y'all told me, girl, he ain't thinking about you. How you think he doing good? He doing better than that. I was like, okay. When it happens, I'll holler. Why are you wishing bad on him? I said, I'm not wishing bad on him. I'm telling you, the Most High showed me that and told me that. I'm not wishing bad. And if anybody deserved to have bad wished on them, it would certainly be him. So what is this defense of someone who the world now knows is a psychopath and has done evil, no shortage of evil all around the place? Why was it not tangible when I told you that? You have a problem with me being right about things? Because that's another segue we're going to get into. When you are a chosen one or you are gifted, there are people who you become this, how I describe it to myself is I perceive myself as a mirror or some sort of reflective black mirror that reflects back to you what reflects yourself back to you. Now, I'm not responsible for what it is that you feel about yourself when you're in my presence, but I have to admit, I've been exposed to, being in a room and everybody's like, oh, Eb, or, hey, Natanya. Mostly Eb. Nobody in the real world calls me Natanya. Very few people that are close to me or intimately connected to me. Everybody calls me Ebony. But people are like, oh my God, Ebony, girl, what can't you do? You're so talented, girl. You could do everything. Oh my God, what can't you do? You're so funny. And so that's usually the reception I get from people or the interaction I get from people. I have a lot of gifts. I'm extremely grateful for it. And one day I said, somebody was like, how do you know how to do all of this? Because I reupholster furniture and I used to have beauty salons. And there's literally, I can build a custom build and build you furniture. There's not electronics, all types of stuff. There's really very little I can't do. And I'm proud of that. Like, I'm so eternally grateful for it. I love it. And somebody asked me, how do you know how to do all this stuff? You went to school for all these things? No, a lot of them are just, I speak my gifts into existence. Like, I'll just say, when I first reupholstered, I was like, oh man, that's a nice couch, but it needs reupholstery. It needs to look different. I can do that. Somebody was like, where you going to get it done? I was like, please, I could do that. She was like, you can't re-upholster no couch. I said, yes, I can. She said, who said you can? I said, me. She was like, oh, please, you're going to ruin this couch. That couch, I'm going to post a picture somewhere. The first reupholstery job I did for my beauty salon, I wanted a French provincial couch. And I had seen one in my sister's hairdresser's salon in New York. And so when I went back to Georgia, I decided, let me look for a vintage couch. And I look everywhere and I find one on the internet, and it was a couch and a love seat, French provincial. I hired a driver in a truck and went all the way to like South Georgia to get it. Brought it back, brought it to my salon. My massage room was empty at the time, so I put them in the massage room so that I could, I was able to store it back there, and then I would work on it outside the back door of the shop. And one day I left the love seat out there, and when we got back the next day, it was gone. I was devastated, but I still had the couch, and I did the couch over. It was vintage, so it was a little rickety, and my mind just told me what to do, how to solidify it, how to shore it up, how to, and I reupholstered the entire couch. And there would be times where my clients, like my other salon employees, were in there with their clients, and they'd be like, where Ab? Or what's that I hear in the back? And they're like, oh, she back here working on that couch. And they'll come back there and look and be like, girl, what you doing back here? Girl, if I ain't see you doing this, I wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't even be able to tell me you did this. Who taught you how to do this? Why do you know how to do this? And that was a joke. But once I did it, people would come to the shop and be like, some of the children, honey, was like, I heard about this couch, darling. Are you selling that? I'd like to buy that couch. It was the first piece I had ever done. I loved it. It was the first piece I had ever done, and it was magnificent. And I had that couch for a long time. I think I might have just gotten rid of that couch maybe 2 years ago. And this was back when I had it had to be, I think Nirvana was 3. And she's 16 now, so 13 years ago. But it was something I just spoke into existence, and I do that all the time with tons of things. I think we need to, when somebody has these abilities, we need to celebrate them. And and like I said, there's always, you don't have to celebrate me. I'm not saying, oh, celebrate me. I don't need the celebration or adulation or acknowledgement. Nothing's wrong with it, but if you choose not to, that's fine. It's all well and good. But like I said, the old parable still exists. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. That's a beautiful option. Lots more people should avail themselves of it instead of being nasty and mean. So what I've, over the course of my journey here on earth, I've been experienced to sometimes I'll walk in a room and some people will either love me or some people will be like, I don't know what it is, but I don't like her. I can't stand her. And they don't ever have a good reason for it. Here's something I used to get all the time when I owned my beauty salons. I would always be jazzed up. It's the whole Brooklyn thing, the New York thing. We're always jazzy, dressed, accessories. So I was that girl. And then I like clothes. I was in the beauty industry. You have to look the part. So I was always cute. And I'm not talking about dressed up like I'm going to the ball. I'm talking casual fly. And so I had stylists in my shop, and I would do this thing called, and ever since my Brooklyn shop, I created, when you see people talk about cocktails and convo, I created that back in 90 something. So I would do cocktails and convo. And so I wanted to give women the ability to be in their communities after work on a Friday or a Saturday and avail themselves of, great conversation, maybe some hors d'oeuvres, a little glass of wine, a relaxing environment, intimate environment, and not have to leave their community for that. And so we did that in my salon. And I promise you, there would be like a lot of the clients for the other stylists, and they would say things like, oh my God, you're so cool. When I first met you, girl, I thought you was such a bee. And I'm like, why? And they would like, people would be like, oh, Ab, real cool, honey. Ab is one of the nicest people I ever met. And she'd be like, I just thought you was such a bee. And it would offend me. Because I was like, why? So there is this notion that women have a concept that if a woman is well put together, stylish, cute, and I was, I know I'm a little swole right now, but I was slim. Okay? I was slim back then. I'm going to get back there. Not that skinny, but whatever. But, women have this notion that if a woman looks great and is stylish and she has a certain je ne sais quoi, when she enters the room, she draws attention and everybody's, hey, Ab, and hey, Ab, and hey, Ab. That means she's a B and you have to hate her? And I would say, but what particular? Did I ever say anything to offend you? Did I hurt your feelings? Did I, did you misconstrue something I said? No, I never spoke to you, or we never spoke. Be like, so why did you assume that I was a B? I don't know, because you all fancy and stylish and everything. And I was like, what? Like, what? Listen, these notions, people have to understand. I am merely a reflection back to you of what you think of yourself. We have to stop using other women as the litmus test by which we judge ourselves, because that's what people are doing. I told y'all what time it is with these private summers, honey. This is what it is when you get this age. I'm 54 and happy to be 54, and this is what comes with it. And so it's okay. It's a process. Life is a series of, situations and experiences, and that's what it is. But as far as how we deal with each other, you have to stop using women as the litmus test by which you judge yourself. You have to stop thinking someone's a B because maybe aesthetics is her thing and she puts it all together. That person could be a wreck on the inside. Now, that's not who I am, but that person could be a wreck on the inside. They might just know how to put it together externally. We're treating each other nasty and making these big misconceptions. Some of those women that have said that to me are still cool with me to this day, and we've had phenomenal interactions and relationships, and whether they're an acquaintance, whether they're just, a client, or they're a friend. I mean, and they always bring back up, like, I'm so sorry. I used to always think you was such a B. When I see you used to pull up, and one lady was like, you pull up in this Range Rover and you fly, designer bags on your arm, and you just come in and everybody just be like, Ab. And I'm just like, ugh, she thinks she all that. No, I don't think I'm all that. I'm confident. I'm happy to be alive. I feel pleasant. I have great things going on in my life. I embrace everybody. Hey, girl, how you doing? How was your daughter's test? So what you're saying is, because I appear to be a social butterfly, you don't like me. I can't be, pretty, well put together, and nice. That's a sad state of affairs. We got to do better. And listen, it's not just women. It's men too. Men do that. I've watched men do that to each other. Probably not as frequently, but they do. Well, nowadays, I would say more frequently. Men have gotten quite catty. And I'm not exactly sure I have a full breakdown on why I believe they are this way, but trust and believe. I've seen some real unpleasant behavior from men. And we just got to stop it. We have to... If there's something about someone that you see and aesthetically they have put their look together well, or their demure and their personality is nice, say, hey sis, I like what you did right there. I see you, girl. I do it all the time. You'd be surprised how people react. It takes nothing to compliment someone else. I do it all the time. If I'm out at a mall or I'm somewhere and I see somebody's effort and they look good, I do it. Listen, I was in the car driving with my daughter one day and we were going to grab something to eat, and so help me, the guy pulled up in the car next to me. He was jamming. We stopped at the red light. He smiled. I smiled. We had a little chuckle. I said, oh, brother, I see them waves spinning, baby. That 360 is doing it. I see that fresh cut. No, you looking good. He said, pull over for a second. Pull over for a second. And he literally asked me to pull over right where we were going. So I was like, well, I'm going here anyway. So I get out the car. He was like, can I buy you something to eat? What you getting? Let me pay for your meal. And I was like, oh, that's kind of you, but no, you don't have to do that. I appreciate it, though. He was like, no, I love a woman who's okay saying, hey, I see what you're doing there. He said, that means a lot to a brother. I wish more women were like that. He said, I don't mind. He's like, is this your baby girl? I said, it is. And we were just running off to get something to eat real quick. He came in, paid for our food, chit-chatted for a minute. Somebody in there was selling oil. One of the Muslim brothers was like, hey, brother, can I offer you some such and such? He's like, nothing for me, but hey, ladies, y'all want some oil or something? And, my daughter looked at it. She's like, oh, I like this one. And the guy was like 3 for $5. He was like, all right, go ahead. Give him 6. And then went his way. It was a pleasure talking to you, sis. I was like, it was a pleasure talking to you, my brother. Keep them waves spinning. You out here saving hearts with that. And it was just a pleasant interaction. And it's common. I get that out of people. You can get it too. But I think a lot of times people don't understand that be resting face. They walk around with that all the time. So you might not even feel like that in your heart, but if it looks like that on your face, that is what people assume of you. That's the interaction someone's going to assume. I don't do things because I want somebody to be like, oh, she's super nice. It's just inherent. I walk through this earth with a lot of integrity, and I don't compromise it for anybody. One day we were in the supermarket and my daughter said to me, Mommy, you're so nice. And I was like, what you talking about? And she was like, no, you're so nice. I was like, thank you, Vanna. I appreciate that. And she was like, no, look at you. I've watched you help like 3 different people in the supermarket. If I'm in the supermarket and there's an elderly lady, or they don't even have to be elderly, somebody in one of those little, the scooty carts, and they can't reach something. What does it take for me to say, hey, ma'am, how you doing? Is there something I can help you with? What do you need to get from here? And she's like, oh, I was trying to get such and such. And I just reach it and give it to them. If God should bless us and we should be so lucky to live a ripe old age or be fully functional and healthy our whole lives and never need assistance, we will be lucky. But someday will come a time where we too will need assistance. What is wrong with helping your fellow man? What is wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with it. I do it all the time. I saw an old man in the supermarket one day. Plus, like I said, I'm hypersensitive to energy. So I could feel him. He looked frustrated. And I was like, sir, can I help you find something? What exactly are you looking for? And it seemed to me like he was in the early stages of dementia. And he was like, where's the fruits? The fruits used to be right here. I don't know why they remodeled this supermarket. It wasn't up to me to be like, honey, they're not right here. Why would I strip this man of his dignity? He was a grown man to me. A grown man. He could have been my grandfather. And so I said, I know, right? You know what? I guess they have a reason for remodeling. Come over here. I think I know where they are. Can I walk with you? You mind if I walk with you? He was like, oh, I appreciate that so much. And my daughter just followed behind it. I literally walked through the whole supermarket and helped this man get everything he needed. Got him off to the register. And I had probably just started shopping for myself. My daughter was like, my gosh, Mommy, you are just so nice. This man, I could feel his energy. First of all, he had a lot of pride. And I don't mean that kind of pride. I mean, he was a proud man who had lived a life and was independent and probably had lost his wife or his companion or whatever. But he was trying to maintain his independence. That's what I received. He was trying to maintain his independence, and the once sharp, facets to his personality were no longer, all those synapses weren't firing, and he was trying to hold on to his independence. What did it take for me to walk with him and help him get his stuff? Nothing. It was nice talking to him. And he said, thank you so much, ma'am. Your manager should give you a raise. And I said, oh, no, sir, I don't. He said, where's your manager? I'd like to tell them what a good job you do. I said, no, I don't work here, sir. And he was like, you don't work here? I said, no, I'm a customer. He said, why were you so nice to me? Why did you help me? And I just was like, sir, I have, a grandmother, and I should hope that someday when I reach your age, if God should bless me, that when I need help, somebody will help me. And he leaned back and just looked at me and said, and he just patted my hand and said, you are really something. And I said, I appreciate it. Thank you. It didn't take anything from me. Perhaps if we were that kind of kind. I was in the supermarket with my daughter the other day. We're in the supermarket, it was an over times, but this one was recent. We're in a supermarket. This guy's in there. So he's a black guy, probably like, I would say 40 something, maybe 30 something, 40 something. And so, you know, the neighborhoods are becoming gentrified, and there was a white couple, like maybe 2 or 3 behind me, and we're at the self-checkout line. So, you know, that line can be a little long, but because there are more machines, it moves relatively quicker. He's in there talking all loud, intentionally trying to intimidate everybody. I mean, if he thought he could have intimidated me and my daughter, he was trying. People need to hurry up and go. I got to go. What the hell taking everybody so long? I mean, he was irate, stupid, loud, boisterous, wanting attention, desperate. I always tell my daughter, don't make eye contact. They're desperate for attention, and I won't be the person that you get it from. You're looking for narcissistic supply. You want to make someone uncomfortable so that you can feel good about yourself. You want people to make eye contact and be looking back like, what's his problem? You won't get it here. I pay you dust. I don't see you. I don't see you or I don't hear you. I ain't even going to acknowledge you. I'm not looking your way. I'm going to continue to check out my groceries the way I check my groceries out. I'm not going to expedite it. I'm going to go at my pace. You are not going to come and intimidate me and take over my level of comfort. And here with my daughter was like, I could see her eyes averting, but I was like, don't make eye contact. So then he's woofing. He tried to bum rush the white people and get in front of them. And white people was like, no, sir. And they went up to the line because he skipped them. And when the next machine walked up, they walked right around him and went to that machine. And so he really was tight. People need to hurry up with they. I watched a black security guard not say a single thing to him. And he was out of pocket. Like, he was literally a threat to the safety of everybody in there. They wouldn't say anything to him. Mind you, somebody else could be walking by with some simple and they all in your face. They have tons of energy for women, but won't give the same energy to men. Let's stop abusing each other in this world. We live in this world together. Listen, it's not an ideal world. It is not an ideal world. There are lots of things that could be better and could be corrected and could be changed. How about if we make a challenge? I see all these twerking by the bread challenge and twerking by the milk challenge and drop it to the floor challenge and I see all these challenges. Why don't we do the kindness challenge? Why can't we just be kind? Let's do the kindness challenge. Commit yourself to doing 5 kind acts a day. I ain't saying run across the highway to help, an old lady crossing 2 blocks over. I'm saying within your circumference, within your immediate area, be kind. And if being kind is being silent, then just do that. If you could be silent 5 times, don't post that nasty comment 5 times for the day. Don't post it. You see a post and you're like, man, she's stupid. What you need to do is, don't do it. How are you adding value? On those 5 kind things that you are getting ready to do, ask yourself, how are you adding value? If it's an old man who can't find something in the supermarket, I'm adding value. You don't have to tell him, say it in your mind. I'm adding value, or say it to yourself as you're walking to your car. I added value by helping this old man or helping this elderly man find what he was looking for. I added value by letting this single mother who had 3 kids with her and was clearly overwhelmed and looked like she just got off, had on a nurse's outfit. They only had 2 things. I added value by letting them go ahead of me in the line. What does it take? I'm telling you, you're going to find a lot more joy in your spirit. A lot of people always use these narratives. Happy, I'm sad. Stop using happy and sad. Happy and sad are external locus of control. Somebody from outside of you can control whether you continue to be happy or sad. Opt for peace and joy. Peace, joy. Because even if you're unhappy, if you're sad, you can still exist in peace and make things okay. Even if it's an irredeeming situation or conversation or interaction, but you maintain your peace. Peace and joy come from God. Nobody outside of you can impact that. You can Trust me, opt for peace and joy over happy, sad, all these external things. They're not fulfilling. They are like the MSG of, and I'm not trying to, and listen, I don't want to live a life where, people have to be like, oh, she said that, she's mean. They are like the Chinese food. Happy and sad is like the Chinese food of life. They're temporary. By the time you get filled up with happy, boop, somebody else come around, now you're sad again. Try peace and joy. They are like meat and potatoes, baby. They stick with you. They're going to sit in your stomach and land and stay with you. You're not going to shake that off so easily. Opt for those things. And let's just be kinder to each other. I'm very... I don't understand why we feel this need. How have we gone so far wrong where we feel a need to get one off on somebody? Because that's really what this is. Well, I'm going to get one off on who you think you are. You ain't all that. Type. Really? Perhaps if we took some of that energy and worked on ourselves. While you're doing this kindness challenge, do me a favor. At the night, after you take your shower, brush your teeth, you get your pillows right on the bed and you get ready to get in the bed, maybe watch a little show before you go to sleep. Get one of those little notebooks. Like, anybody that knows me knows I always have a notebook around, like big, little, medium. Get a little notebook or a notepad or whatever. A little spiral like this is cute. Dollar store, $1, $1.25. And write the date and write down your 5 acts of kindness. And check yourself in a month. Not even a month. In a week, it's going to change your life. I'm telling you. There's going to be a peace that starts to radiate within. Try it. Every time you see something on the internet that annoys you or you feel like, I'll show her and I'll tell her, don't write the nasty comment. I'm not saying don't comment at all. I'm saying say something like, I sure hope this situation gets better for you. Because with the young lady that was crying and her mom was telling her she was a mistake, it would have served when she's in her time of, let's say she has to get on a bus to go stay with that lady and her daughter. She may look back at her post, and I'm sure the notifications are coming through. So she may look back at her post and start reading the comments, And why does she need to see Karen up there talking all this junk and waxing poetically on her? Why? It would have been better if Karen said, it's a messed up situation. When people are going through, they don't need you to pile on them. It's like that old football game of, you see they tackle one person and then every member of the team seems like they go pile on. For what? What is the pile on for? I mean, it gives people thoughts. It makes me think like, why do all these people want to lay on top of each other? And I'm not talking about anything. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm unique in that way. I don't like a whole bunch of people touching me. Like, if I haven't invited you to touch me, please don't. I don't like it. Recently, there was someone who, she was a former client, or not even an actual client. She was a former prospective client. She called me out of the blue, a random conversation, something she wanted to get done. She was supposed to get reupholstery last time. She didn't get it because her driveway was awkward and the truck could not get up her driveway to get this heavy piece of furniture. And so nothing was done. Years later, she circles back and calls me and she's like, oh, because I was working on da-da-da-da-da-da and I was looking for people to join us. And I was like, oh, well, my daughter does environmental justice work and da-da-da-da-da. And she's like, oh my God, that's so wonderful. I love to hear that. Let's meet up for coffee. Let's talk. And I was like, sure. I have a theory about people who spin the block on you. When you've had an encounter with someone, a chance encounter or a random connection, and then they circle the block on you, because this had to be like 6 years ago, this piece of furniture, and then she calls me out of the blue randomly. Now, can it happen? Sure. She could say, yes, I want some reupholstery done. I knew a reupholsterer. Let me see if I still have her number. Let me call her. because that's what it started out as. Here's the irony. She started, hey, you want to walk? Do you walk? I walk. Okay, well, we can walk together. We can walk these trails. Okay. So we started being walking buddies. Then she started like, hey, what you doing? You want to go for a drink? This, that. Like, okay, women of a certain age, you find kinship. We have great conversations. Let's go. Because I can get along with anybody. But a part of, and that's why you have to trust your spirit of discernment, because it started to feel weird. I would tell my daughter, like, this lady feels weird. Something about her. It's just wackadoodle and weird. And I would get the feeling every time I was around her. Like, I got a feeling of a lack of safety, and I didn't necessarily particularly trust her. And she would always find the most obscure walking trails. I'm talking, you so far in the cut, in the bush, the Loch Ness Monster, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, all them gonna come out, because this how in the cut. I just was like, very peculiar. She always wants to go into some far, but see, I could read her energy. She wants to act overly friendly, but she also is a narcissist. She's comfortable hoping someone feels uncomfortable. But I'm hypersensitive, and you can't play me. I'm unplayable. Let me just say that. Me and the Most High, baby, I got a Bluetooth that I don't even need to put in my ear. It's in my head. We talk all the time. And I just kept saying to my daughter, like, can't put my finger on it. It's not coming through all the way clear, but it's a little weird. Now, she would do this thing, girl, let me tell you, and touch me. I was like, not too many of those. I don't like people to touch me. Oh, girl. But then you turn around and and here's the weirdest thing. We know we live in a world where people can dislike you for whatever, or we hear about energy transference. We hear about future stealing. Like, someone wants to steal your future. They can do things to work something on you, work a root on you. They can work obia, voodoo, whatever the term is, whatever you want to call it. People are trying to steal your essence. So all of a sudden, I started having this weird cough. And it wasn't all the time. It was like, and I was like, I have asthma. So I was like, this is a different cough. But when you get older, as you age, your body changes and things change. So I was like, is this a weird air conditioning cough or something? I didn't understand where the cough came from. And it was annoying me. But it was there. And I didn't pay it much mind. I worked out. It wasn't all the time, but I knew I had it. But this woman kept touching me, and I was like, a couple of times I didn't want to, we would be a mixed company, and I noticed she has this narcissistic way of behaving. You could tell her don't do something, but then if you guys are in mixed company, she'll do it to see if you're not going to say anything. But I'm not that type of person. I am true to myself. To thine own self be true. That's also from the word. And so I was like, I told you don't touch me. And then she act like it's the first time she heard it. Oh my God, okay. What? Well, we had to go on this 1-week environmental justice camp trip. And all the way in Mississippi, bunch of kids, I drove the van. I started noticing I didn't have the cough anymore. But guess what? She ended up with the cough. So here's what and I don't mean like I was coughing and she picked it up. Oh no. Like somebody must have tried to work something on me, steal my essence, steal my future, whatever. Some type of spell or send bad juju or bad vibes or whatever. But it was connected to that cough. Well, guess who doesn't have a cough at all anymore? And guess who got a cough? You kept touching me all the time, and I kept telling you, don't touch me. Don't touch me. I don't like it. And you always reach out. Oh, let me tell you. Oh, I'm sorry. This big, dramatic, stupid thing. She would do it on purpose. But you kept touching me. So whatever it was that somebody sent on me with that cough, she got it now. It's hers. Samsonite, baby. Luggage. It's hers. She was all week. And then I was like, I don't have this cough thing anymore. What the? So sometimes you will buy yourself a headache. Whoever sent bad tidings and juju my way, she ended up with it just by virtue of you constantly touching me. You touch me so much and touch my arm. I mean, I would get in the car and put the seat, the arm thing up like this to shield it from touching, because she would be like, oh, did I tell you? You are annoying me. And now I don't want to run the risk of flashing out at you because I have my we all have boiling points. And I don't like it, especially when I can feel my spirit of discernment is telling me you're doing it on purpose. Well, long story short, we don't speak anymore because she kept doing bizarre things. And like I said, the spirit of discernment kept telling me something's off with this chick. And I'm comfortable walking away because guess what? My peace is worth more than your presence. I don't have time to stick around for foolishness. If you don't respect my boundaries, if I've had to tell you, I don't even talk twice. I don't talk twice to kids. I have a way with kids. I don't even beat children. My whole life, I don't beat my children. My children haven't been beat. My children will be 32, 35, and 17. I don't beat children. And I have a granddaughter. She doesn't even know what a beating is. None of my children. I don't beat them. 2 older sons and a younger daughter. And I haven't had to beat them. And trust me, it's a beautiful existence. You have to have a level of self-control and peace in yourself. My theory about beatings are, and trust me, you ain't saying nothing. I know y'all like, oh, she going off with that one. I done been called everything but a child of God from my own family. I'm Caribbean. From everybody. She white, who she thinks she is, she this, she that, all these things. But guess what? Those same girlfriends of mine who used to drop kick their kids, beat the dog snot out of them, will call me and be like, hey, could your son, such and such, call my son and talk to my son? Because I done told you all your life, you still beating them kids? You still beating them kids? They don't get it. Here's my theory. If beatings work, it would only take one. If you beat your kids 297,000 times over their lifetime, baby, you are exerting unnecessary energy that, God forbid, like I said, if you drop in the corner somewhere and nobody don't see you, you're going to wish you had all that energy you exerted whipping your kids. You're going to wish you had all that energy stored up so you could get yourself up out that ditch and save yourself. Stop exerting energy for stupidity that has no redemptive benefit. The world is going to beat your kids. The world is going to beat your black sons. Why are you starting the process for them? We have to be mindful of what we say, what we do. Our words can build or can be lethal and destroy. It took a bunch of women who were strangers to try to build this young lady up from one vicious thing. I mean, it's bad enough her mom said it, and I'm sure it's not the first time she said it. What makes it worse this time is that it was captured on video and memorialized for the world to see. I mean, yeah, in 1 minute, for one perspective, you're highlighting your mother's toxicity. And from the next perspective, you're highlighting your mother's toxicity. Like the world knows that your mom thinks you're a mistake. Like, you're going to have, the cost of that is very heavy. You're going to have to get a lot of counseling because you don't get over things like that. I had somebody related to me tell me something very nasty and mean. And here's the thing, when you are a chosen one, there is a je ne sais quoi about your essence, your spirit, your personality, your character, your charisma that other people love. Some people are just downright jealous. And that comes in all flavors. It comes from all places, all flavors. It could be somebody that you love. It could be bloodline. It could be somebody you know. It could be a teacher. It could be and yes, there are adults who are jealous of kids. Let's just call it what it is. Adults jealous of children. I saw a post that a woman put, I think it was called Cleaning Up My Daughter's Room or something, on one of the sites. And her daughter's room was a little disheveled and messy, a lot of clothes and stuff, but the room was fantastic and it was really nice. And she just had a whole nice aesthetic. And people was like, why you buy that kid that bed? Why you spend all that money on that furniture for that little kid? You should just got her one of them little old IKEA beds. And what? She was like, because I pay these bills and why she got a room with her own bathroom? I mean, the hate and loathing from adults on a child. I just was like, what? who are these people in this world and how am I connected to them? Because really, I don't feel a sense of connection when I see these vicious, vitriolic statements. I'm like, I've never thought like that a day in my life. Like, people don't get, they're telling on themselves with your words, and your actions tell on you. They tell a story and a narrative you don't even think. Let me give you an example of one that I never really got over. So I was in my neighborhood, my former neighborhood, one day, and we had really big houses in this neighborhood. A 5,000 square foot house, beautiful, you know, as my nieces and nephews. One day Nirvana went back to school. Some friends, one of my girlfriends came over who was her gym teacher, and she had a camp, like an after school center, and her cable wasn't working at the time, and this was years ago, back in the Housewives of Atlanta early days, and she was like, Ed, let me come over to your house, I want to watch Housewives of Atlanta. So I said, all right, come on. So she had some of the kids with her still, and you know, they were spending the night or whatever, and she brought them with her. And then the next day, the kids went back to school. Nirvana live in a mansion. Nirvana live in a mansion. And she was like, Mommy, they're getting on my nerve. They're telling everybody I live in a mansion. Why are they saying that? I was like, And she was like, well, why do they keep saying that? It's annoying me now. And I'm like, Nirvana, you have to understand, your life is not their life. Plus, your mom is older. Like I said, I have 30, soon to be 32, 35, and 17. So first of all, her brothers are 15 and 18 years older than her, which means I'm an older mom, and I'm further ahead in my journey, in my financial plateau, and all of that. I'm further ahead than your counterparts. So we can live in this big house, 5,000 square feet, with, you know, a movie theater, a theater room, and workout room, and all this stuff. And then your friends live in apartments, and that's just what life is. I said, so, you know, try to, because your kid, you don't know your life except for the fact that that's your life. Other people's lives are vastly different, and when they encounter yours, they can see something's different here. So anyway, I digress. So they kept saying, Nirvana live in a mansion, and she was bothered and upset and livid. And so one day I was coming home. So these houses in this neighborhood were very nice. Everybody, the whole neighborhood, just really, we lived in a swim tennis community. She would go to the pool every day. I mean, we lived a nice life. She has had a great existence. And it comes with sacrifices. We sacrifice a lot to be able to provide these type of lives for our children. So I'm just illustrating something. So I came home early from my salon one day, and all of the women, quite a few of them, were outside. And we called ourselves the Housewives of Carissa Court. So they're like, what you doing home? And they said, you never come home this time of the day. And it was a pivotal turning point in my life, because I had decided that I was over my salon. My son had been telling me for 2 years, Mom, close the shop, close the shop. I was just over it. I was tired of standing behind the chair. I was just tired of all the shenanigans and, you know, this, that, knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. I was tired of it. I was burnt out, and I just was over it. And so I had decided, you know, effective immediately, I'm going to close. I'm tired. You know, half the time clients will be calling me, or the stylist will be calling me like, Ab, your client here. I'm like, who? Like, let's say Lisa. I'm like, oh my God, what time you going to be here to do her hair? I'm on the beach in Miami. I forgot Lisa got an appointment. They mad at me. Child, when I tell you they was cursing me out, I might just wake up and decide, let's go to Miami. And me and Nirvana, or I call my sons, be like, yo, y'all want to come to Miami? They're like, sure. I'm like, all right, I bought y'all tickets. Just fly out, me and Nirvana in Miami. These people calling me, or we on some other trip, and they calling me to come to the shop. And I couldn't keep doing that, because I loved what I did, but I had lost that love. And, you know, your clients and you have a beautiful relationship. You don't want to burn that bridge. So I was like, let me close the shop. I'm done. Come home. They're outside. So one of the young ladies says, one of the newest ladies that had just bought a house in the neighborhood was driving down the street and pulled it. And the girl was like, I wonder what's her story, because both her parents are alive. And I was like, huh? What's that supposed to mean? What a weird statement. I couldn't understand. I said, what does that have to do with anything? And it's like, oh no, she had bought her house cash. So I'm just trying to figure out how she did that because both her parents are alive. It's not like she got an inheritance. And I was just like, gulp. Because I was like, what a fucking weird statement. I was like, her parents have to be dead? Maybe she's just a savvy businesswoman and she's prudent with her finances and she was able to buy her house. This woman turns around and be like, they said, oh, maybe she, maybe she got a jackpot. Maybe she won the lotto. Maybe all these women are in her business saying all these things. And I'm just sitting back like, looking at them sideways like, I said, how do you know she bought her house? Like, the other lady was like, she bought it completely cash. Like, she don't got no payment. And the other lady was like, nope, she bought it completely cash. And then she turns around and says, her and Eb the only ones who got a paid off house in here. And I was like, who told you that lie? Who told you that lie that my house is paid off? She was like, oh, please, bitch, I looked up your sale when you moved in here. What? I couldn't believe it. Me and this lady have been friends for years. You looked up my sale when I moved in? What? Who does these things? Every day somebody amazes me with the overstepping of boundaries. Now, mind you, I had no idea any of these people were in my business. I had no idea. And I have never in my life been inclined to say, oh, somebody's moving into the neighborhood. Let me go look up their sale. Where this level of audacity? What is that about? What's going on that's the type of stuff somebody does? It has never occurred to me to do something like that. I'm not in anybody's business like that. I don't care. You come into the neighborhood, congratulations, welcome to the neighborhood. And it was just such a peculiar conversation. I said, God, that's why you don't let me come home this time of the day. Because these are shenanigans right here. Ugly shenanigans that I don't want no parts of. And I kept saying, no, that's not true. And she was like, she looked at me like, please. I was like, whoa. We have got to stay in our lanes, drink water, and mind our business. We have got to, if you're going to be in somebody's business, be a support system. Say something pleasant. Drop a kind word. You might be saving a life with some kind words. You at work today? Hey girl, how you doing, girl? Oh, that shirt is beautiful, honey. That color looks good on you. You see somebody, who you can tell put effort into their look that day and they killing the game, or excuse me, I'm going to beep that out too. They doing it. Just say, girl, I see your effort, boo. You won the day, honey. Just give a compliment. You'd be surprised what it does for people. Because little do you know, a lot of times they hold you at a high esteem. And so if it's people in your personal circle, people hold you at a very high esteem. If you give them a compliment, that is amazing to them. They're like, whoa, if she thinks I look good, I must really look good. Just get some of this hate up out of us. Let's just get some of this hate up out of us. Like, I really find it to be a problem. You don't believe me? And listen, I'm preaching to the choir. I know I don't have to prove anything to you guys. You guys is on this internet. You know what's happening. I just think it would do us good to handle people with care. Maybe that's the challenge. The handle with care challenge. The fragile challenge. Whatever you want to call it. Let's handle each other with care. And parents, please don't be out here calling your daughters B's and telling them their mistakes. That's a lifetime of therapy to correct that. Please don't do that. Don't do that to your children. Please. People on the internet, stop piling on. Get off of the pile. Stop piling on to people. You forget there's somebody at the bottom. They're probably struggling to breathe. What are you piling on for? And also, let's stop doing the obvious stuff like somebody's going through what you need to do is, I know people don't think those qualify as being mean and out of pocket too. Let's just do better. got to take something from your old first lady. Be best. Let's do better. We can do better. Okay, guys, I'm asking you that. I'm asking you that. How do we add value? Write that in your notebook. Get yourself a notebook. It's just a little, look, just be cool. Just be cool. Get yourself a little notebook, a little spiral. Write down a date. Give you something to look back at and see how the journey you've made. Because trust me, it's restorative and healing for your soul too. I just know if the world keeps functioning the way it is, as it stands, there's wars. There are sinkholes forming everywhere. In South Dakota, there was a massive sinkhole. I watched on the internet today somebody's house floating out. I guess there was some kind of storm in that city, and the house dislodged from the earth. That part of the earth fell in, and the house was floating out in the sea. And people were like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. We are in unprecedented times. I'm 54. I've seen a lot. I remember a lot of things, a lot of history. I'm half a century. I'm more than half a century. I remember a lot of things that have happened in this world, news stories, cataclysmic events, and none as... I remember back in, I believe it was 1979, 1980, when Mount St. Helens exploded. A volcano on Mount St. Helens. And it was somewhere in Washington State, Oregon. And we got volcanic ash all the way in New York City. I remember those type of cataclysmic events and all these things. What's happening in the world now, unprecedented. It literally feels end-timey. It does. So you need to be a little kinder, be a little nicer, hug your children tighter, and the people that you love, and those stupid, you holding a grudge against somebody, and you got beef with somebody, I guarantee you if I ask 10 people why y'all mad at each other, they can't even remember the original argument. They don't know. I have a family member right now. Got an attitude with somebody else in the family. I guarantee you they can't tell you what the argument was about. And they may be upset when they see this, but the person who is expressing anger now was wrong. Wrong. But that's what happens. We be righteously indignant, wrong as the day is long, and hold on to our stuff. And this is not a judgment. This is simply a mentioning. I think it would do people well to let go of these petty grudges. There's nothing redemptive. Ask yourself how holding that grudge has benefited your life. What value has it added? Have you grown wealthier? Are you a little younger? Do you look younger? Did it give you a few more years? What value is it adding to your life? What is the redemptive measure of having an attitude with someone, a grudge that you've been holding over 10 years? Crazy. It's nasty work. It's nasty work. What are you getting out of it? You are literally giving somebody free rent in your prime real estate. If you are Fifth Avenue skyscraper condo, this would be the penthouse suite. You literally letting somebody live in a penthouse suite for free when market rate is $54 million. You see how stupid that sounds? How ridiculous that sounds? I'm admonishing people to do better, be better. How am I adding value? If you ask yourself that for every interaction you have, how am I adding value? If you're not adding value and it doesn't readily rise to the surface, leave it alone. If you have also look at the people in your life. How am I adding value? And in reverse, how are they adding value to me? If they are not adding value to you, and they are just taking up space, perhaps that is where your focus should be. Not on writing vitriolic, negative, harassing statements online. Focus, turn that around and focus internal. Let's be kinder. How am I adding value? And shift your perspective and focus on yourself, your loved ones, your children. Build you up. I promise you, if you build you up, you won't even feel compelled to write something rude. Let's just be better. It's been 1 hour and 30 minutes. This is a pretty long video. I enjoy it here with you guys. I enjoy talking to you. I enjoy having these conversations. I enjoy reading your comments. I truly do. I enjoy the insight that a lot of you share and the expressions of, you know, how just my words or whatever impacted you. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I feel like this is a lane and a space for me. You're going to go through life where people are going to be jealous of you. You're going to go through life where people interact with you and are not necessarily kind. Ask yourself, how are they adding value? And perhaps ask them. If it's somebody in your job that you interact with all the time, or somebody that you know, one of your girlfriends, that always says something snippy and always says something snide and conniving and, you know, condescending, ask her, say, excuse me, let me ask you a question. You just said such and such. How does that add value? When we start asking people, how does that add value? I'm telling you, it's going to change this world. It's going to change the world. You're forcing people to be introspective. You're forcing them to look inside themselves and see, why are they spewing this? I think some people don't even realize they're spewing. It's such a foundational baseline for them. They just do it. But if you engage them and say, why are you doing that? Why did you say that? How is that? If you see a nasty comment online, go onto that comment and say, how did this add value? Let's start doing these things. I'm telling you, it will change the landscape and the fabric of the world. Guess what? As bad as this world is, we sink or swim together. Let's do better. So now for the housekeeping stuff, you know, my daughter always tells me, like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend. Definitely interact with me. I love having you guys here in the nerd herd. That's what I call you guys, my nerd herd. Because guess what? Being smart is cool. Having conversation and having something pleasant to add and just to be able to shoot the breeze, no pun intended, with someone is nice. It's dope. It is absolutely dope to be able to have stimulating conversation. You know why some of y'all are losing out? Because you can't have conversations with your intimate partner. I want a man, and I want this, and I want to get married, and you guys cannot have conversations. Trust me. I interact with people every day. I listen to people. Wow. As a business owner, I interact with people. Some people lack general basic capacity to espouse and express themselves on something that is a benefit to their own life. No subject-verb agreement. They can't string things together. It's bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. So, absolutely, unequivocally, make sure you do some work on yourself. But I love being here with you guys. Like I said, comment, like, subscribe. If you should choose to support the channel while I'm building, I want to do a few more things, get a piece of equipment and stuff. By all means, I haven't been monetized yet. I want to give a shout out to Tisa Tells. Thank you so much, Tisa, for sending your Tattletale community over here to support me. You guys have been amazing and beautiful, and I love you here. And your Tattletale and Nerd Herd mixed together. And we can be all those things. If you want to support the channel, my Cash App is up there, The Dopest Nerd. THA, Dopest Nerd. You know, all my information is there. So, you know, y'all just do what you do. I'm not going to beat a horse, and I don't have to preach to the choir. You guys know what this is. I appreciate you. I look forward to more thought-provoking conversations. Please, in the comments, drop things that you want to talk about. Drop topics that you want me to explore. I'm going to add a few things in here, a few pictures and things like that. If I get my trusty dusty assistant, my teenage daughter, to help me. She does all my thumbnails and stuff like that. you know, they're always too busy when you want them to do something, but she'll do it like, she gets it done. But, so if she helps me edit this and put little pictures in, you'll see the pictures. If not, hey, don't quote me on that. I'll get them around next time. But again, guys, I had so much fun hanging out with you guys, meeting you. I've recorded a lot of shorts. View my shorts. Share my shorts on your platforms. I try to drop a little nuggets of wisdom. Tell me how I'm doing. Give me feedback. What do you think of the dopest nerd? Am I living up to my name? Either way, let me know. I'm glad to have you guys here. I'm glad to be here with you. And we have so much to learn and grow and add value to each other. Until then.